Campaign led to the indictment of two former top aides to President Trump and plea deals with two others. But there is still no charges for the president. Let's bring in our panel. Isaac Wright is a former executive director for Correct the Record Super PAC, and Alexander Smith is the executive director of the America Rising PAC and a former national chairman of the College Republican National Committee. Thank you both for being here on this final few days of 2017 before we head into the new year. What's interesting about this as we move forward is how much longer can this investigation go as we head into 2018? What are your thoughts on that, Alexander? Do you think we're drawing anywhere close to an end, or could we potentially see more charges? And is the president or his inner circle, perhaps family members or anyone in his campaign, at risk?
Well, look, I think it's important that the investigation continues because we should know as Americans about the hostile states that are looking to influence our election. That being said, I don't think that this is an issue that's unique to the Trump campaign necessarily. For example, the Senate Intelligence Committee is looking into whether or not Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate, was colluding with the Russians. So, this is certainly, I think, a problem for the country, one that the special prosecutor is investigating. I think it's also worth noting that the reason why we know about most of the stuff that we know about with respect to the investigation is because not only did the executive branch appoint a special prosecutor, but also the Republican-led committees in the House and the Senate have permitted hearings and have permitted, different statements to be taken that we wouldn't otherwise know about. It's really difficult to think about, Senate Democrats and House Democrats doing the same under a President Hillary Clinton presidency.
And you bring up a great point there. This is really broad as far as the number of people that are looking into all of this in Congress and the House and, of course, the Mueller investigation. Isaac, your thoughts on what we might see in the new year and if the president or his circle are at risk?
Well, obviously, the circle's at risk. 4 indictments have already been handed down, 2 of which were of Trump's innermost circle. The man who managed Trump's campaign has been charged, amongst other things, conspiracy against the United States. I think that's the first time in American history a presidential campaign manager has been charged with conspiracy against the United States. Not to mention his national security advisor at the White House. Trump has now come out on a tweet since then and said that he knew before firing Michael Flynn that he'd lied to the FBI, before Trump then asked the FBI to stop investigating Flynn. Obviously, that would be pretty concrete case for obstruction of justice. We've seen 4 indictments so far, 2 guilty pleas. This is just starting to heat up. And the big question that remains is what's the truth out there that so many Trump officials are lying about? Because you look at what these guys are getting charged with. They're getting charged with lying to the FBI about their communications on behalf of the campaign with Russians. What is it they're hiding? What is it that is so important to them to keep a secret that they're willing to lie to the FBI? They're willing to lie to Congress. They're willing to lie on their forms signed under oath at the risk of felony charges to cover it up.
Well, the investigation ongoing, and there may be answers to a lot of questions that people on both sides of the political aisle want. The president spoke with the New York Times just recently, and here's what he had to say regarding special counsel Robert Mueller. He said, "It doesn't bother me because I hope he's going to be fair. I think he's going to be fair. There's been no collusion, but I think he's going to be fair." Alexandra, your thoughts on that? Do you think that the special counsel is being fair?
I mean, look, I think that the investigation is playing out. I think that the president is letting the investigation play out, as are Republicans in Congress. I think that the people who are really disappointed right now are the Democrats, because going into the 2018 midterms, they were really hoping that there would be a silver bullet that came out of this investigation so far, connecting these alleged activities to the president. And so far, there really hasn't been one. And so I think going into 2018, they were really hoping to rally their base around claims of or around charges of impeachment for this issue. They were really hoping that this would be a smokescreen for the fact that they still don't have a unified economic message, that they still can't get on the same page when it comes to polarizing topics like single-payer health care. And so I think that going into 2018, they're going to find themselves scrambling for a unified message that doesn't involve this investigation.
Shame on any Republican. Shame on any Republican who tries to make this a partisan issue. This is about our national security. This shouldn't be about Republicans versus Democrats. This shouldn't be about talking points. This is about the integrity and safety of our nation against foreign adversary nations that have interfered with our democracy.
And what I said was that it's important for this investigation to play out. What I am saying, though, is that Democrats have been hopeful that it would yield something.
Nonsense.
And you can see that by the way that Democrats have been talking about impeachment. Why would Democrats be putting impeachment on the line if they weren't hoping
feelings have been expressed on both sides of the political aisle on this, from Republicans expressing concerns about bias in the investigation. Democrats, of course, watching this very closely. But we don't have the answers yet, and at some point, hopefully, we all will, and the investigation will wrap up.
We all should be watching very closely.
But we appreciate both of you joining us here today. Thank you so much.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Well, that could be an indication of 2018.
Yeah.
Right. Meanwhile, have you been outside? Probably should stay in.